Pokemon investing friends, so much energy put into Prismatic. It's all you hear on social media. Prismatic this, Prismatic that. I heard the other day from a YouTuber that Prismatic Evolutions is the most expensive set ever in terms of the price points of the cards, the individual cards in the set. Is that true? And if it is true, pretty amazing. But my thing is, man, it just feels like there's so much attention on this particular product. It reminds me of like watching videos of Cabbage Patch Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids, people fighting over them going back into the 80s. I don't want to say Beanie Babies because it's not Beanie Babies. It's actually got solid IP behind it with Pokemon. But just seeing the huge rush for this, especially when we know that they're going to reprint this into the ground, Prismatic, it's just a very interesting thing. Because right now, it might feel like those singles are worth a lot of money individually. But the supply-demand thing seems to be really off within the Pokemon community. And part of that probably just seems like, hey, look, when I buy sealed product over the last few years, even though they've reprinted and reprinted or huge reprints or whatever, hasn't really mattered and my stuff has still improved in price over time. And so there's less of a focus around supply because demand is high. And demand is probably higher right now than it has been in a long time, maybe ever. I don't know the Pokemon market super well. But we do know that right now, new products, you're not even getting that pre-release price. I know there's a lot of people that have been able to get that from their local LCS or from a distributor, and now that's all gone. People that are used to getting distribution, they're used to getting hundreds of cases of stuff, and now they're getting 5 cases or 10 cases if they're lucky. And so times are changing in the Pokemon space. Maybe that's for an extended period of time. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a 2025 thing. We'll have to see how it plays out. But there's going to be other new sets coming out. There's going to be other exciting new products that come out this year from the Pokemon company. Prismatic is going to be reprinted like crazy. And I think that's a really important one because right now, if I hear the cards inside the set are the most expensive, when you look at kind of each card's worth and you add that up, you don't have all the supply to know that. Look, if you told me in 3 years that Prismatic has the most expensive individual cards in the set, then okay, fine. We've got the supply. They're probably not maybe printing anymore after 3 years, 2-3 years. They're probably all done printing, we would assume. Once we get to that stage, then we can properly look at the singles market for this particular set and be able to identify what's what and kind of speak on it. Right now, you have a shortage of supply because all you have on the singles market is what's been open right now. People are rushing, opening it, grading it, selling it as fast as they can. There's probably some nice flip opportunities right now compared to what we're looking at over the long run. Now, for me, when I look at all the attention in one place, I always have to look in other places. I know I brought up vintage before and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're talking about vintage. That's garbage. It doesn't have the shiny stuff. It doesn't have the new art that people like. And that's fine. Okay, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Again, for me though, I want to have a good mix. I'm buying some of the new product when Prismatic Evolutions does get reprinted. I think the price is going to settle a little bit. And of course, guess what will happen too? Other sets will be released. There will be less shine on Prismatic, and I will get some then and hold on to it. I'm not going to open it. I'm just going to keep it sealed. I'm not going to be Rudy Alpha Investments and have 200 cases of it or whatever in a warehouse, but I'd like to have some and just kind of hold it over time and see how it does. So I do like to have a mix of some of the new products. I'm probably not going to be buying every new product that comes out though. I'll probably be fairly selective on what that is and if it's going to be booster bundles, is going to be booster boxes, what is that going to look like? So I am buying some of that new product, but honestly, when I see some of this stuff going at $300. I ordered a Sun and Moon booster box. It was $300. I think with shipping and everything, it was $320. And part of the reason why I ordered a Sun and Moon, just base booster box, was because I'm looking at a lot of the Sword and Shield and even the Scarlet Violet stuff starting to move up in price. And I'm thinking, man, if Surging Sparks is about the same price as Sun and Moon, I understand cool art and extra pulls that might be in Surging Sparks that's not in the Sun and Moon. I still want to diversify. I feel like there's kind of an issue there where that might be a little bit aggressive. I still feel like, man, that feels like a nice price for Sun and Moon, being that it came out in 2017. Of course, before they really increased the volume, the print run. It's believed, of course, that from 2020 to now, we've seen a pretty big increase in print runs due to demand from pandemic people coming back in. There's a lot of young people getting into it, their dads, moms, all that stuff. So there's just been a high demand for Pokemon products going back 5 years, really, as the pandemic started. I know there was a big vintage singles boom that kind of happened, a little like blip in the radar there, 2020 and 2021, and then it kind of settled. But man, I'm still looking at those vintage singles, but not even just like 1999 first edition holo type stuff, early 2000s types cards, various sets, and just trying to kind of pick my spots, high grade type cards. Maybe it's a PSA 8, PSA 9. I don't know necessarily if I'm buying PSA 10s of a lot of stuff, but I just like that singles market. And again, I think that as time goes on, in 20 years, think of how many more Pokemon sets will be out 20 years from now. And I gotta believe at some point there is more shine around those older singles. I know the boxes are already expensive, so for those that are saying like, you know what, I'd rather buy Sword and Shield for $200 a box as opposed to buying, going back and buying an EX product where I can only get like a 3-pack blister for $200 or, a fossil pack from $19.99 for $200. I get it. I understand if that's where you want to put your money. I'm trying to do a little mix of all of those things. I want to have some of each set coming up. I want to have some vintage. I bought a couple of XY 3-pack blisters. So I've got some different things that I'm trying to focus in on. Just have kind of a nice batch of things just to see how that does over time. But again, I think that there's just way too much emphasis and focus from the investing side, speculation side, really it's speculation, in the new products and then not paying much attention to stuff before it. Look, if the brand new stuff surges in price so much that it's comparable to Sun and Moon or even XY product prices, I'll take XY and Sun and Moon all day long over some of the newer stuff. Now, again, I understand Pokemon is different than sports cards. Just because stuff is aged doesn't necessarily mean that it's better. There's some people that believe that Sword and Shield era is going to be the best era ever. Some people say the same thing about Scarlet Violet. Hey, they're like, hey, look, I know there's a lot of supply. There might be more supply of Scarlet Violet than there is Sun and Moon, but there's going to be always a lot more demand for Scarlet Violet. And that might be true. I think that's one of the things that is going to obviously show itself over time. But again, another reason why I'm just trying to mix in, not get too caught up in the brand new thing that just pops out and just putting all of my resources into the next new product. Because inevitably, there's going to be high demand in 2025 for this stuff. Secondary market prices are going to be high. There will be some sort of a reprint where it retraces some. I don't think it's going to come back, just get cut in half, like a $200 box all of a sudden turns into $100 because they've printed more of it. I still think there's a lot of demand for it. And demand, of course, too, that's waiting for the better price points. So just a lot more participants now than there was going back 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whether it's sports card people like me that are coming in and taking interest in it, or just more collectors, more people getting in, more young people getting in, more people that want to rip and open the packs. And then there's also more people that are doing rip and ship. There's more people that want to own sealed like I am. So I think patience is going to be really key in 2025. But again, part of the reason why I've been going in on vintage singles and some of the other stuff that's not necessarily brand new product coming out like a Prismatic is because I feel like I'm going to have the time to get that stuff. I feel like Prismatic's not going to be gone. I'm not going to never be able to get that stuff. There will be opportunities for it. I just need to be a little patient. And that goes for any of kind of these new sets that are coming out in 2025, because there's going to be craze around it. You're seeing people raid the Costco. You're going to see the same thing in Walmarts and Targets, kind of like pandemic times. In that sense, from a demand standpoint, it is a bull market. It's certainly bullish. So let me know your thoughts, friends. Are you chasing every new set that's coming out, or are you going to be a little bit more patient, maybe like I am, and maybe pick your spots, different areas, different sets that came out over time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.